What's going on, Guardians? Today we are diving into an absolutely insane Prismatic Hunter build that not only boasts top tier survivability, can take care of every champion type in the game, delivers crazy ad clear, has fantastic synergy, but also can dish out some serious damage. I've been running this in in-game content, and I wanted to break away from the usual Void Hunter build that I play or the Gifted Conviction meta that is here. So let's try something fresh, fun, and viable. Dim and Mobilytic links are down below, as always, in the description. Let's break it down from the abilities, the fragments, weapons, armor, and all the synergy that it has, so let's get into it. For the super, we are going to be running Tether, and there's a ton of reasons why. Tether locks down ads, has the ability to suppress and weaken everything that it touches, plus you're able to deal damage across all tethered enemies at once. This has to be the most versatile super on a Prismatic subclass, which is why we are using it. For our melee, we're going to be running Threaded Spike. The ability to sever enemies at will, cutting their damage output by 40%, is utterly fantastic. Plus, when you catch the spike on its way back, you are going to be refunded that melee energy, sometimes up to 100%. And for the grenade, we're opting to go with Grapple Grenade. It's great for repositioning and mobility in as a pinch. You can get out of a sticky situation, but the best part about it is the melee after you grapple does count as a powered melee, and it's going to tie directly into our exotic of choice, but more on that soon. For our aspects, first up, we are going to be using Stylus Executioner. This is going to give us near constant on-demand invisibility just by defeating debuffed enemies, whether it's Void, Arc, Solar, Stasis, Strand, any of those debuffs, it's going to grant us Invis. Plus, you pair it with Ascension, it's going to trigger Amplified when we use our class ability, giving us 15% reduction to damage and jolting nearby enemies. But the bonus on that is that Jolt will stun Overload champions. Now, let's talk about the fragments, because this is where things can get spicy and there is a ton of synergy here. First up, we have Facet of Devotion. So we're going to get bonus light transcendence energy when we defeat any enemy affected by a darkness debuff, whether it is Strand or Stasis. Then there's Facet of Hope. So any elemental buff, whether it's an Overshield, Amplified, or Radiant, you're going to be getting faster class ability cooldowns. Basically, it's going to give you a higher uptime on Ascension, meaning more often being amplified, which will give you better survivability. Then there's Facet of Purpose. Overshields when you pick up an Orb of Power. It's just going to further feed into Facet of Hope for more uptime on that. You have an optional swap here using Facet of Protection instead. If you just want straight up damage reduction when you're surrounded, it's going to give you 15% or 32% when you're in your Transcendence. So feel free to swap over to that one if you like. Then there's Facet of Ruin. This is going to increase the size and damage of our Ignitions and our Frozen Shatters, which is going to pair extremely well with our exotic of choice, but also our Prismatic Grenade. Lastly, we've got Facet of Dawn. This is going to give you Radiant just by getting a power melee hit, whether it's your Threaded Spike or your Grapple melee, giving you more weapon damage, but at the same time, since you're Radiant, it's going to further tie into Facet of Hope. So the synergy here is just fantastic. Now let's talk about the loadout. Starting with our special weapon, we are using none other than Tinashe's Mastery with Chill Clip. This has the ability to stun every single champion type in the game, and if it has air trigger on it as well, you're not going to have to worry about the ammo economy. You can really run this like a primary, and air trigger just helps out so much with that. But if you don't have that specific role or roll with Chill Clip, don't worry, Iron Banner is around the corner. You're able to farm for it relatively easily. All you got to do is focus it from Lord Saladin. Then our energy weapon, we opted to lean into the Void synergy with the artifact perks as well. So if you really go with anything that has Repulsor Brace or Destabilizing Rounds, it is going to be so much fun. You get free Overshields from any kill on a Void debuff target, plus Destabilizing Rounds, allowing you to have a constant uptime on volatile rounds. It is fantastic for ad clear. In this GM specifically, we did opt to go with Reckless Oracle. It is an auto rifle from Garden of Salvation that's craftable, though if you don't have it, feel free to use something like Recluse, Riposte, or even the Grid Skipper. Those are going to be great options as well. Then for our heavy slot, really dealer's choice here. You can go with something like Queensbreaker if you want more DPS, pairing it with Particle Reconstruction. You can go with a Rocket with all the artifact perks that build into that. We did choose to go with Thunderlord on this because the synergy with Bolt Charge is really fantastic. The lightning rounds from the intrinsic and the exotic perk just work so well together. Plus, Thunderlord is just a ton of fun to use. Now, let's break down the exotic armor that we decided to go with. We are going to be using an exotic class item, but it is so fantastic. First up is Spirit of Caliban. Your powered melee is going to trigger ignitions. You pair it with the threaded spike and the grapple melee. See, that's why we are using a grapple, because both of those count as a powered melee. Plus, with Facet of Ruin, our ignition is going to be bigger and more deadly. Then there's Spirit of Surturachne. This allows us to have woven mail for 10 seconds every single time we throw a grenade, which is huge for survivability. And it doesn't just proc with our grapple, it will also proc with our Transcendence grenade as well, so your uptime on woven mail is going to be insanely high. But if you're still missing this class item or a class item in general, feel free to jump into our Discord, which will be linked below. Our community is always happy to help you out, and so am I. Now for the artifact mods that honestly make any seasonal or episodic build just shine so much more. First up, we've got Piercing Sidearm to stun barrier champions. Then there's Volatile Marksman, so rapid void precision hits or rapid void weapon final blows will grant us volatile rounds. Then we've got Hold the Line, so when we're surrounded, machine gun and glaives will get increased reload speed and stability, but final blows also will heal you. Then there's Dielectric, so when we defeat any arc debuff target, it's going to generate bolt charge for us. Also can be boosted with the Tome of Want, so rapidly defeating arc debuff targets are going to spawn an Orb of Power, and it's going to heal a small portion of your health. Then there's Disruptor Spike to improve the effects of Exhaust and Sever. Basically, our Threaded Spike is going to do more Sever. Normally the output is 40% damage reduction. I'm not exactly sure what Disruptor Spike is, but it says more. We think it's more. We're going with it. Then there's going to be Maligned Harvest. So when you rapidly apply Volatile, it's going to cause your next instance of void weapon damage to create a weakening burst, and it boosted, applying Weaken provides a small amount of a void overshield, just helping you aid more survivability. And then we've got Flashover. So when you get maximum stacks of bolt charge, you're also going to become amplified, and your lightning bolts are going to deal more damage. Then kind of an off meta pick for the artifact, we're going with Heavy Ordnance Regeneration. So when you deal sustained damage to targets with your heavy machine gun, in this case our Thunderlord, it's going to grant increased damage resistance, but also increased grenade and melee regeneration for a short time. If you boost it, basically defeating powerful combatants is going to disorient nearby rank and file enemies. So I wouldn't boost this personally, but the first portion of it is really fantastic just for synergy with our grenade melee regeneration, plus more damage resistance is never a bad thing. Lastly, Defibrillating Blast. Stunning a champion will grant max stacks of bolt charge immediately, triggers an arc bolt that heals you and jolts combatants that it damages. So there's some other fun stuff depending on if you want to swap out the heavy for a linear, for example, that you could use with particle reconstruction. But those are the artifact perks that we opted to go with, and personally, this build has been so much fun and everything synergizes so well together. For the rest of the mods on our helmet, we are going to be using a Void Siphon and a Stasis Siphon to create Orbs of Power on rapid final blows, then a Special Ammo Finder to get more ammo for our rocket sidearm. And our gauntlets, we're going to be using Heavy Handed to create Orbs of Power on our powered melee final blows, then Impact Induction, so when we cause damage with a powered melee, it's going to reduce our grenade cooldown. Of course, for the chest piece, if you've watched any video from probably everybody, we always recommend any damage resistance mod that pairs with the activity that you're doing. For our legs, we're going with Stasis Scavenger just to make sure we've got enough ammo because we are going to be using Tenacious as like a primary. Then there's Better Already to immediately begin health regen when we pick up that Orb of Power. Then Orbs of Restoration, so when we pick up an Orb of Power, it's going to grant a small amount of energy to our ability that has the least amount of energy. Lastly, for our class item, we're going with Bomber to reduce grenade cooldown when we're using our class ability, Special Ammo Finisher to generate special ammo for the whole fire team, and then Disruption, so it reduces all ability cooldowns when we use our class ability near targets, meaning when we use Ascension, it has to be near targets anyways. It's just going to help reduce the cooldown of everything else. So there you have it, Guardians, a hunter build that checks every single box. Survivability, the ability to kill every champion or stun them, ad clear, consistency, plus very fun and rewarding gameplay. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you're going to try it out or if you're going to switch it up to fit your play style better. Feel free to drop in our Discord. Tag me, let me know your clips, let me know what you've changed. But if you did enjoy this video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on anything else in the future. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.